Hi, Dr. Rezon, here to talk about the attending model of medicine. So I'm a family doctor, very much involved in primary care and trying to improve access to quality health care in a culturally sensitive manner for our patients by lessening the EHR burden. I'm affiliated with UC Riverside Medical School, and I'm on the Board of Governors of Temecula Valley Hospital. I want to start this with the idea of David and Goliath. We all know that story. David was a small herdsman who had to go against Goliath, who was a pretty formidable foe, quite big. Now, as you get into medicine, you look at everything through the eyes of. And I really liked the book by Malcolm Gladwell that talked about David and Goliath, where disadvantages can be advantages. So if you look at Goliath, he was huge. Actually, I figured it out. He was probably 9 foot 9 inches tall. But he did say in the Bible, "Am I a dog that you come against me with sticks," plural. Did he have diplopia? Because most of the time, slinger would only have, like David, would only have one spear. And then he also said, "Come here that I will give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals," meaning that he probably wasn't that mobile and that he was only good if the opponent came to him. And Goliath required a shield bearer who went ahead of him. Did this all add to the poor vision? So if you put together all of these factors, could it be that Goliath acromegaly secondary to a pituitary tumor? So the thought that he was big and sort of strong could also be. That being said, David was a slinger. He was nimble. He could move quite quickly and could strike from far away. So in reality, it's not totally surprising that David was able to take down Goliath, as slingers usually took down infantrymen. For myself, there's different models of medicine. I'm a 2-office family medicine group. There's different models of medicines for different sizes. So if you're a large group, military, academic, say a Kaiser Permanente, or a large hospital group, they use different models. One of my best friends, who I really admire, is in charge of the proactive care physician health connect at Kaiser. And he's very good at train your dragon through voice recognition, electronic health records. That's a model. There are medium-sized groups with 10 to 20, such as Riverside Medical Group. And then there are small group solo practices, ones that take healthcare maintenance, HMOs, PPOs. Otherwise, others have memberships, such as Eisenhower's Family Medicine 365 program, small concierge type practices. Then there's direct care that is cash only without taking any insurances. And the newest is functional micro practices with one provider, essentially a laptop and a room. This year there have been some very timely books. Attending is a book by Dr. Epstein that talks about physicians needing to have mindfulness to improve humanity and focus on the patient. Another good book is The Evolution of Medicine by James Maskell that allows us to fall back in love with medicine and treat chronic diseases with a small micro practice. We have to realize that we physicians need to learn how to play well in the sandbox because of the high burnout rate. Physician burnout is caused by too many bureaucratic tasks, and those that do critical and intense patient care seem to be the most at risk for burnout. Dr. Pamela Weibel had an excellent TED Talk that highlighted the thoughts that physicians have suicide rates that are almost equal to 1 a day. Female physicians are 2 to 3 times more likely to die by suicide than those in the general population, and male physicians are 1.4 times likely to pass away from suicide as opposed to the general population. Part of the challenge has to do with the electronic health record, the number of administrative tasks, and this has caused them to actually work harder, yet see fewer patients per day. In a 2013 report by the RAND Corporation for the AMA, it stated that the aspects of the current EHRs were particularly common sources of dissatisfaction with physicians, including poor usability, time-consuming data entry, interference with face-to-face patient care, making it inefficient and less fulfilling work. A 2014 research in the International Journal of Medical Informatics found that physicians who use technology-centered approaches have the longest patient encounter times, but they also have the lowest patient satisfaction scores. So, taking a page from the Martian movie, I encourage we and physicians that we need to science the heck out of all of this. I take inspiration from a book such as Dr. Brush's The Science of the Art of Medicine, as well as Atul Gawande's excellent books, especially the Checklist Manifesto, on how to get things right by the use of checklists as well as systems. And Eric Topol, an amazing genetic cardiologist in charge of translational medicine in Scribe's clinic, uses technology to get back to patient care. But in his 2013 books, discusses the creative destruction of medicine and the creation of a digital method using smartphone technology to get the patient to have a voice. And Dr. Topol's latest book, recently out, The Patient Will See You Now, shows the future of medicine is in the patient hands and that they will come to see us and have more direct access to medicine. And for leadership, I especially like the work of Dr. Stephen Covey. When we're young, we are essentially dependent on our parents. As we get older, we like to be independent, but the highest level of actualization is actually interdependency, where we actually work not only with our staff, but with our patients to improve health outcomes. And I especially focus on Rule 5, which is seek first to understand the patient before I can be understood. And for both comic relief as preceptive insights, I like the work of Dr. Z-Dog. I got to meet him at one of the meetings, and he does use health coach scribes to focus on patient care. So the 3 keys to the attending model of medicine, I feel, are superior technology, an excellent team, and to improve my interpersonal touch with the patient. Electronic health records come in many shapes and sizes, the biggest being Epic and Cerner at the hospitals, but for solo practitioners or small groups, Practice Fusion, which is actually a free EHR, has been the one that we've used and has been successfully employed. And for intra-physician communications, we use TigerText as it is a HIPAA-compliant way to communicate with our physician colleagues. The Riverside County Medical Association has been instrumental in implementing the ability to connect with other providers, especially hospitals, through the IEHIE, the Inland Empire Health Information Exchange, and are now pending improvement of communication with the Peaceful Practice website. Particularly want to thank Dr. Tarek Mahdi, Dr. Joe Sugar, and our Executive Director of the Riverside County Medical Association, Dolores Green, for all their hard work. On a slightly humorous side, I do feel strongly that nurses are the heart of medicine, but on the other hand, while I understand nurses run the universe, this study from 2013 showed the survival time of chocolates on a hospital ward, a covert observational study where they placed random boxes of chocolate, noted that nurses and healthcare assistants were the ones that ate the chocolates the most. So please be nice to nurses. Togawandi was the one that pointed out that back in the day, we physicians were essentially lone rangers. We were self-sufficient and we attempted to do everything on our own. Now, with the complexity of healthcare, we need pit crews, not unlike the Indy 500 type pit crews. We need a team in order to focus on the patient in a timely manner. Dr. Curtis Combe has been one of the pioneers in the use of medical assistants with the combination of medical scribes. We started a school about teaching medical assistant and scribes, and this has been very impressive in turn the ability to improve access to quality health care for our patients through the use of a good team. Now, in the attending model of medicine, I like to think about my first attending at the University of California, San Diego, which was Dr. Helen Ranney. She was a pioneer in hemoglobin research, instrumental in sickle cell and hemoglobin A1C, and actually once had me go to the chalkboard to try to draw the hemoglobin molecule, which I was unsuccessful. But what Dr. Helen Ranney did teach me is what a great attending does. They make decisions. Attendings educate, do procedures, are responsible for the ultimate patient care, edit the patient note, these days in electronic fashion, and they send and write the prescriptions. But attendings do not do scut, such as the elemental scribing. They don't find labs or old records or images. They don't take the initial patient intake, and the patient discharge, they don't do the details of the disposition. So the advantage of an attending model of medicine is that it allows us to complete the medical history taking by first setting in the clones, people to at least ask the patient in a controlled and timely manner what they're here for, what their concerns are, and look at the healthcare maintenance needs. Essentially, they might spend 30 minutes taking the history of the present illness, and then they come to us like third-year medical students, present in, say, 30 or 40 seconds. And then I go in the room and I give the patient their medical history to their satisfaction. In essence, the patient is my attendee. This allows the patients a second chance to answer these various questions. I have laser-like focus on the patient, a la Sherlock Holmes. It's a court-like reporter documentation, and the chart notes billing are completed before the next patient. This allows excellent work-life balance for the physician, the patients get excellent timely care, and the staff gets an excellent job opportunity to allow them to further their career or continue to improve as a healthcare provider. We published last year, or actually we published this year, March 17th, on how scribes can help us to get off the computer and in front of patients in medical economics. Our GAZE study project through UC Riverside School of Medicine showed that when you do not have a medical assistant scribe, physicians spend about 45% of the time looking at the patient. However, with a medical assistant scribe, there is direct and/or shared gazing of 93% of the time. But it turns out, serendipitously, we only spend 8.3 minutes a patient, but still are able to get a 5-star rating. Thus, we as physicians are now scalable. In summary, I feel the key to a good EHR is not touching many keys. And when you look at the impact of scribes on patient interaction productivity, and this was in a cardiology prospective study in 2013, it's shown that there was a 59% increase in patients seen per hour and a 57% increase in work relative values per hour, with over $200,000 in additional revenue. In short, to have a peaceful practice, it would be wonderful to continue to improve our staff and, in fact, create medical assistants who are also maybe scribes. They also might be certified health coaches and/or navigators, especially in the role of cancer treatment. I jest that it could be like Bert from Mary Poppins, a cockney of all trades where he plays many instruments, as well as Radar from the movie MASH, where he anticipated the physician. Obviously, we have to be very cognizant of the requirements of the Medical Board of California in regards to what a medical assistant can perform and cannot perform. For staff development, we have study skills. Our Pro Study Skills course teaches speed reading, test taking, time management, and memory. We also use outside resources such as certified scribe programs, certified medical Spanish programs, as well as technical and business writing seminars. And we have sent our whole staff up to San Francisco to interact directly with the patient with Practice Fusion's Academy to become power users of the EHR. So how does this work? Essentially, similar to how we've all been trained with the attending model. My MA scribes act as third-year medical students. They present their case in front of my stand-up desk, and then I can look over the preliminary note and many times propose an evaluation and treatment plan. And in a 2012 study, 72% of the times we're correct in our diagnosis simply by the history. If you stay on time with your patients, you only have to be average to get good patient reviews. So the goal in our practice is to answer the phone on the first ring by a human with the nickname Sunshine. We're scalable, so we have same-day appointments. We have a reception area, no waiting room, because we don't want them to wait. We actually attempt to see our patients before their appointment time. We respect our patients, and all patients over the age of 20 are called by their last name. Vital signs are vital. Every patient gets vital signs. And then we have timers to keep us on point. Timer 1 is started when the patient is roomed, and timer 2 is started when the doctor enters. So that way, everyone on the outside knows how long patients have been in the room. And then, personally, I use a Timex vibrating watch with it vibrating at 8 minutes to keep me on point, but yet still get a 5-star rating. We use techniques of the ritual of the physical exam from Dr. Abraham Verghese. We use hand positions from Alan Peace and eye gazing techniques encouraged by Tim Ferriss. And I understand in this day and age, I am now a secondary provider. Dr. Google is all of my patients' primary care doctor. And so I have to understand that they've already gone online to Google search, and I need to anticipate that and in fact be proactive. So we have effective patient education via computer screens. We use many 4-point slide education series for our patients. I'll have them read my ebook about men's health if they're coming in for a physical. They can watch many of my YouTubes that talk about their symptoms. And we will send them to various websites for the treatment of chronic diseases. I especially like Diet Doctor, the #1 low-carb website. And in fact, turns out now I do not treat diabetes anymore, as I reverse diabetes by teaching them how to follow a well-formulated, low-carb, healthy fat diet. Telemedicine is a great part because we can use wearables such as Fitbit to engage our patients using their smartphone in a HIPAA-compliant platform to follow their eating, their sleeping, their hydration, and their activity, as well as their weight. And it is a platform called Nudge Coach, which I kid that if they're not behaving, I nag them. But either way, it allows me to have patient engagement almost every day in a very usable platform. So in general, in summary, primary care is now scalable with this model. And in the words of Archimedes, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. I truly believe if I have enough MAscribes, I can see a great number of patients in a very effective and functional way. And if you look at the numbers, and I have them here for you, that basically a good MAscribe can see about 10 patients a day. If you look at the hourly wage, there's quite a bit of ability to see patients up into the 40s without much stress on the practice, with a good revenue, and yet patients get excellent care. And this is reflected in our patient satisfaction scores, which are quite good in the high 4s, even if we have a brisk practice. The disadvantages of the attending model of medicine is there's not enough well-trained MAscribes. There's a steep learning curve for novice MAscribes. Good ones advance to graduate school. It's easy to get frustrated with novice MAscribes. Physically, there's a large number of staff members in the office. There are staff dynamics that are amplified, either good or bad. And finally, we physicians must read and edit every word, as it is our responsibility that it reflects patient care. And what are the qualities of a good MAscribe? These have been proposed that they have a high school graduation with some college and or medical terminology is preferred, proficiency in English reading, grammar, and comprehension with excellent verbal skills, possess strong computer and keyboarding skills, a high level of concentration, possess a solid hand-eye coordination, keen listening skills, passion to work in healthcare. And then they must physically be able to stand or sit for long periods. Ideal candidates are confident, mature, and able to multitask. They're self-motivated, punctual, and cooperative. There are many scribe programs out there. The American College of Medical Scribe Specialists is one that actually has an aptitude certification test. However, medical scribes lack a consensus on training, as stated in a Modern Healthcare article of 2013. So what's the future of medical scribing and the attending model of medicine? I think we physicians are continuing to have constant never-ending improvement, but really medical assistants, and especially medical assistants that become scribes, are at the logarithmic rapid growth phase if given the right development. So currently we're in the process of improving our tools to treat. we are working on a medical assistant scribe checklist app, organizing the Khan Academy type videos, putting together treatment terraces so the staff can anticipate what we're going to do, medical assistant boot camps, continuing medical education, online learning, billing, risk management, communication, interview skills, and learning how to present and improve our online presence. Health coaches through our Cal Baptist University have been an excellent addition to augment our medical assistance. So the future is bright. I think, in summary, we need to improve our technologies, our team, which is our staff, and our interpersonal touch. And through this, we can improve access to quality healthcare in a culturally sensitive manner for our patients and for the future.